Alright, it's Ursine Combo Lab Audio Episode 7, and we're going to be talking about dash macros. I'm here with Wi-Fi Warrior today. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Wi-Fi Warrior, Weep Trash. Honestly, the name fucking works. I go to Cal State San Marcos, and I am the DP guy, I guess. I missed episode 6, which would have been funnier to debut, honestly.
That's okay, that's okay. And so we got what's this? Blaze Blue Central Fiction? Some anime game here.
Yeah, so we got Blaze Blue Central Fiction pulled up, we got Naoto pulled up, because obviously if we're talking about dashes and dash macros, this has got to be the guy, you know?
Alright, so go. What's so important about this dash macro? Let's see. What's the dash macro on the inputs on the left?
Alright, so Blaze Blue actually doesn't have a dash macro. It's kind of one of, when the game got rollback, that was like one of the discussion points. People saying, "Hey, why doesn't Blaze Blue have a dash macro?" Because more modern games do have dash macros, like Strive. That's the first game came to my mind, but yeah, Strive has dash macro and all that. But I think Naoto here, if you don't know, his gimmick is that when he's dashing, all of his special moves kind of basically become EX versions. See, like this is his normal DP, but if I do dash into a DP, look at that range.
Oh yeah.
This shit is dumb.
Sheesh.
So Naoto here is designed all around not having a dash macro. Because if you look, say I want to just do basic BMB, but I don't want to dash. You can do that. You can get some pretty decent damage off of it. Look at that, 2.9. But if you want like the high damage, like the crack shit with Naoto, you're gonna start doing like some micro dashes, which I can't fucking do because I'm fucking up now that I'm on stream. But there you go. See, look at that. We already hit the same damage, but now we're just getting higher and higher. Look at that. Basically 4K off of just the same starter. If like I don't know, Naoto, his whole kit is designed around the fact that you're not gonna have a dash macro. So if you want to do any cool stuff, you have to work on those dashes. Cause say that you want to do so command, my brain is a mess right now. Command normals. Naoto's Naoto's 5B and 5C are like the main things you want to dash cancel into or out of. But Naoto, they know that, and they know that it's something that you want to work towards. So Naoto is actually designed with his 6B and his 6C are both aerial-based moves. So you can't, if you do like this, you don't get the, enhanced versions of the moves if you just mess up your execution. So you have to work on going 665 very, very fast.
Oh.
It's just a very interesting, cool design tidbit about Naoto that the magic of his design gets lost by like implementing dash macros everywhere. That makes sense.
Dang, I thought you were gonna come in here today and be like, macros are trash because.
Okay, look, I can't say that out loud. Macros are trash. You're bad. Skill issue. Hold that.
You're coming out here saying, "Oh, it ruins a character." Dang, dude, I thought it'd be different, but. I'm quite surprised. I'm quite surprised that you.
It's just a really cool character design nuance that gets lost with dash macros.
So you're saying that so. Would you say that you're saying that this, if you had dash macros, this character would lose part of its character, right?
Yeah, you would lose a lot of what makes Naoto as a character to play, because the meme are you do you play Blaze Blue at all?
No, I don't play any anime games, bro.
No,
I'm an anime hater, bruh. That's my trademark here, is that I hate
retrograde. The big anti-weeb. No, that's cool though. So the meme with Naoto is that he's arthritis man. His combos is so hard you'll break your fingers and shit. And also I can attest.
Yeah, it does sound like that, bruh.
I have a pad with me right. I'm on stick right now, but I have my old pad that I used to play on PS4. I actually broke the D-pad because I did too much combos with him.
Oh no.
So I have this cheap replacement pad that feels like ass. But yeah, if you look at my execution, everything is a micro dash before I do it.
Yeah,
so the joke is
40% more damage.
Yeah. So you have to get really tight with your execution, and if you're not, then you'll get instead of getting this, you'll get this, which isn't as good.
So would dash macros make his combos easier?
Dash macros would make even if you can micro dash like me, like the inclusion of a dash macro would still just make everything so much easier.
But
Because oh yeah, go on.
But what would it? Okay, so how's the buffer system in this game? Like,
In this game,
could you like dash? Okay, assuming there was a dash macro, right? Could I
yeah.
just like could I like press like would I have to like link it, or could I just press like forward and then the macro and then it would just do it? Like would I have to like time the dash macro, or would it like could I like buffer it after like a normal and then like still get it? Right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the dash is pretty lenient, like the buffer, you look like that.
Okay, okay.
But like even then, even with the dash macro, you would still have to time it to like a fair extent. It still wouldn't be like now the combos would become free, but there'd still be some technical difficulty with it. But it's the fact that the dash requires you to go 6, 5, 6, and then back to 5.
Wait. 6, 5, 6. What do you mean?
So to dash you go 6, 5, 6, right?
6, 5, 6. Oh,
But
okay.
when
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
so
just brain farted there. I'm like,
no,
what is 6, 5, 6? What is this numpad notation? Like, you trying to do like a DP or something? No,
no,
I get it now. I get it now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the fact that you have to go 6, 5, 6, and then you're holding 6, but you have to return
Yeah.
to 5 really fast to get this instead of this. That's the big thing that messes it up. Because then dash macro, you would just go like this. Like assuming 5B is like dash, you just do this.
Okay. Well, do you only play on stick or pad? Have you played with like the hitbox before or something?
I have not played on a hitbox. I'd love to try it,
Do you think
but
so? Do you think so? For like here's my question for you. If you are
yeah,
playing on a hitbox, it's basically a dash macro because all you're doing is pressing right, which is equivalent to like right dash macro, right? It's
yeah.
almost the same. You don't have to like go back. You just press.
Oh, did you cut out there?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'd say it's about like the same speed if you press like right on a hitbox, and
Yeah,
then versus like the dash macro where it's like right plus like O or something, right plus the macro. It'd be like the same, right? So,
yeah.
well,
I think it's fairly
it's playing
similar.
on a hitbox, removing part of Naoto's character. Because technically now you don't have the difficulty of doing 6, 5, 6 when you could just press 6, 6, which is equivalent to like 6 dash macro, right?
Yeah. So you guys talked about hitboxes last week, I believe, right?
Yes. That's why I'm bringing it up right now, right?
Yeah. So I'm not a hitbox player. I don't want to speak for hitbox players, especially like playing out on hitbox. I wouldn't know. But from like what I imagine off the top of my head right now, instead of being, you'd still have to like double tap a button fast instead of being able to like blink two buttons like this.
Okay.
I assume that would like make some difference because there's still the risk of like not being fast enough pressing the two buttons at the same time and still getting like 6B or 6C.
Okay. But you could always like do like one of the what are the shenanigans, like the rebind shenanigans or whatever.
Oh yeah, I have no clue about that. Yeah.
Apparently on D-pad you could do it too. I'm not sure. Like just
Yeah,
like some weird.
but if you're playing like double claw on D-pad, you deserve it,
True.
honestly.
Dude, you're right, dude. Claw is like so jank. Like I don't know how people do it, especially double claw. Like, So if you're saying that the ease of input kind of takes away from the character at this point, right?
Yeah.
But for example, what if like this character existed with dash macro already in the game? Because you're coming from a place where Naoto didn't have it, right? But like
Yeah.
imagine he got the game from the very beginning, there was dash macro in this game. Would you say that like people would never know that this character was like designed a certain way, right? They wouldn't be like, oh yeah, dash Naoto is like the character, right? They'd be like, oh, dash macro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So do you think like that in this case, dash macro, like if it were to begin, like theoretically, if it were to be put into the game, it would actually take away from the game, like this simplification takes away from game design, like from game design standpoint.
I think it actually okay. Look, I might get like flamed for this. I think it actually would like it would make Naoto a much more accessible character. And like, look, at the end of the day, everything I say here, if you want to do a dash macro because like it for accessibility reasons, like pressing forwards is like hard for whatever reason, that's totally cool. I totally understand that. I would much rather like have games less technical inputs that more people could play.
Okay.
But also at the end of the day, like this is just another aspect to design around and to play with. And I think that like if Naoto did come with a dash macro, yes, he would be like there would be a lot more like the game would be a lot more he would be a lot more simpler of a character, and I think it would ruin some of the magic of his like moveset.
Okay, what if I gave you this? What if I gave you the option to turn dash macro on or off? Would you still play this character without the dash macro?
Absolutely, I would laugh at you if you put Naoto and turn on the dash macro.
Okay, so there's two people. There's one playing without dash macro and one playing with dash macro. And the person on the playing with dash macro gets his combos like 100% of the time, versus the person who's playing without dash macro gets his combos. He maybe drops one combo in 100, right? And
yeah.
What is that person gonna say? Oh, you're a dash macro scrub. Learn to get good. You know, I only dropped that combo because I'm a real Naruto player, right? Don't you think things like that would start coming up?
I mean, like, I would say it for the meme, but, like, to be honest, at the end of the day, you're here to win. So, using the dash macro, like, is just more optimal. It's the smarter decision to use.
So, okay, here, let me give you another question. So, like, you're implying here that, like, the character difficulty, like, is a part of the character, right? So, like,
Absolutely.
should characters be, like, gatekeepish-ish, right? Like, so for example, like, if you're bad, you're just bad and you shouldn't play the character. Is that what you're saying? Is that should exist, right?
I mean, if you want to put it that way, like, I guess if you're bad, then if you're bad with like that character, then I guess you kind of should stay bad. So I actually had another example. That's what I was like saying earlier on Switch Games.
Right.
Have you played Tekken?
No, I have not.
No, you have not.
I played
okay.
it like in the FGC club, like casually, and then I was like doing like Omega dangerous lows that were blocked, and then I was completely punished.
Okay, so like do you know like about like what electrics are and all those like the Mishimas?
It's like the 3-frame thing, or is it frame perfect?
It smashes the 3-frame and Tekken it's a just frame.
Okay. What's a just frame?
It's frame perfect, like
okay, frame perfect.
Like,
okay, yeah. Okay.
Shout outs to EPG Tekken sending me a DM right now saying want some games.
Oh no.
Okay, so yeah. So Mishimas are like the perfect example of what you're talking about, where like a character is literally just gate kept by skill. I bet you use dash macros, you cheater. Alright, EPG Tekken, look.
Ooh, he's calling you out.
I'm literally against dash macros. You can check the VODs, you can look at my gameplay in the fucking videos. You can see. Alright, let me pull up Tekken. There you go. So what do I want to show off? I don't know.
Alright, Tekken.
Do you have a preferred Mishima?
I hate all of them.
Alright, cool. Which one do you hate the most?
All of them.
That's
entire
not a
family tree. Here, I hate the oldest guy. What's his name? Heihachi.
Alright,
yeah.
I got you.
That guy's the worst.
Alright, so for the sake of like what I'm saying now, obviously like Sumo and all of them would fucking kill me for saying this, but for today's discussion, they're all the same guy. They all play the same. They all have the same moves. Sumo's gonna fucking beat my ass with Lee and Bears again, but fuck you. Okay, so the Mishimas, you know how like the meme with Tekken is that like every character has like 200 moves, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is still true for the Mishimas in a sense, but they are designed around like 3 core moves that have just always existed since Tekken 1. Or I guess Tekken 3 technically, but like whatever. We don't keep track
here. The just
here.
frame of the electric is like part of the character, right? So if you made it easier, it'd be like, bruh.
Exactly. The electric, they are the electric. They are the electric, the wave dash, and the jab. That's essentially it.
All right, let's see it in action. Let's see what these things are. Once Tekken 7 loads, of course.
Whenever Tekken lets me in, it's not like we're on the show or anything.
Here's I think all games should just be 2D, bro. They should just like make the 3D model, take a picture, and then make it 2D, right? Just like that, and then.
Yeah, like fucking Donkey Kong Country, Clay Fighter.
Yes, exactly. Then we wouldn't have all these loading times, whatever, dude. It just load straight up.
I don't even want 3D games. I just want like shitty MS Paint games like Hyanta.
Yes, true. All right, here we go. Let's see what this is all about.
So the Mishimas are designed around like three essential moves: the jab, flash punch, 1-1-2, the electric, and I guess like the hell sweep or something. I don't know, something with the wave dash.
Right. So what is wave dash? Real quick, is it that thing you're doing right now?
Yeah, the wave dash. Smash players stole the term, but it's like this little bouncing movement.
Okay. Oh.
Little overhead, a low, and you can wave dash into electric. Yeah.
All right. How do you know that you've performed a successful electric?
So if you listen or you look, you see the little sparks that come out.
Ah, I see.
As opposed to just a normal one God Fist, which like there's no sparks around his body, only on the hit.
Okay, I see.
So the Mishimas aren't really given a lot of tools. Tekken has a generic launcher called Down Forward 2. Most characters will have this. It's 15 frames. It's like you use it to just like quickly punish stuff and launch them in the air. Mishimas don't get this. Instead, they get the electric, which is like about 15 frames if you're gamer. But the difference is that it's a high, so it can be ducked, but it's plus on block. But it's also like a fucking god tier whiff punish. And it's like one of the best moves in the game.
Does it have like invincibility as well if you do it like the electric one?
It doesn't, but since you have to do a wave dash into electric, it can like duck highs a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But you don't. It's not really like, even though it's got a DP input, it's not really used as a DP. It's like you use it to like whiff punish to control space.
I see. Okay.
So the whole like the idea is that, again, it's like Naruto. The electric is a tool you have to like learn to get good at using.
I see.
You have to be able to like backdash electric, wave dash electric, which I just fucked up, sidestep electric, both directions. You have to be able to do it on both sides. It's the fact that the electric is hard to do is like what makes the fact that it's like such a strong tool work.
That's why I don't play Tekken, guys.
Yeah, okay.
It's true though. You know what? I'm not willing to put in that work. I don't get to play the game. You know, that's just, and you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles, right?
You know, you got a point there. The only reason I wanted to do electric so good is because COVID. I'm not paying attention in class.
For sure. Oh, so you make a good point. So the difficulty is like part of the character, and like if you're to take that away, well, okay. So for example, would you like it? Would it be okay if like I made like an easy version of Tekken, just so like imagine like an easy mode in Tekken where like people just don't have to, they could just play the game without any of the difficulty, like as like another mode or something. You think that would be okay, or would that still like would that take away from the game? I guess.
Well, like as like a separate like more casual mode, or is this, like,
yeah,
just like an ultimate. Well,
yeah, like
I don't think like. Mode. So actually, this is that they literally do that in the story mode.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. So Tekken. Can I turn this on? I don't know how to turn it on. Basic combos. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
I don't think that's the right thing.
Is that like auto combos or something?
Yes. Okay. Cool. So Tekken will have like Tekken has like there's a different thing that's just like this, but it'll pull up a little menu, and each button will be tied to a move when you have that menu up. So this is like a little accessibility mode, and normally for Heihachi, there will be one for just the normal one, God Fist. But during certain segments of the story mode, if I remember correctly, Heihachi will have access to one button electrics, and that's totally fine because it's all locked in the story mode. That doesn't affect anything for like the gameplay itself. It gives you like the power of feeling like you're a god tier Mishima player, whatever, and it doesn't affect any other players. So I think it's totally cool to just keep that.
I see. Very interesting. I'm glad that Tekken has something like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
So would you give me an example of a character who has been like ruined by like dash macros per se? Like, do you know of any examples? Like, oh, this character used to be like this, but because dash macro was part of the game, now it's like the character is like lessened or something?
Guilty Gear Strap. I'm just kidding. No.
Okay. Did Guilty Gear before had dash macro, or is Strive the first game with dash macro?
Okay, so Strive was the first game to have dash macros. Okay. thankfully the game's designed around dash macros, but it kind of did bring up the discussion of like what happens if we implemented dash macros into the other games. I don't have like so I know so someone did implement dash macros into Xrd as like a test. I don't like have the Twitter clips on me exactly right now, but it was fucked up and it gave Faust like whack ass combos.
So it opened up new combo lines, really?
Yeah, it opened up a lot of new stuff for Faust, which I think is really cool, but also like I'm not trying to deal with that, dude.
And it opened up new stuff because like the dash macros allows you to like frame perfectly dash, right? Instead of having like the frame gaps for going from 5, 6, you can just press 6 dash macro frame perfectly, basically.
I would assume so. I'm not exactly sure the exact reasons to why the dash macro opens all that new stuff up, but I just know like it did when they got implemented, when it like the person modded it into Xrd.
Okay, interesting. And okay, so this is dash macros. Do you have anything more you want to talk about with dash macros?
Dash macros?
Yeah. Maybe like dash blocking and like Uni or something. I hear like dash blocking super important in that game. 3K was talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, what if I could just like dash, blah blah blah, dash block, XYZ dash blocking so free with like, I don't freaking know what he was talking about. I don't play that game.
I would take 3K's word for that. He's a much better Under Night player than me. If dash macros makes dash blocking like free in that game, hey, honestly, I'll take it. I suck at dash blocking.
Okay, what about macros in general? Let's widen the scope of this discussion. So like, V trigger or like EX moves taking like 2 buttons.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I'll let you.
So macros in general, like actual like just macros in general for like different buttons. I think that's totally fine. On Twitter, every time the discussion of macros come up, Gino will tell the story that like he almost stopped playing completely because he couldn't use macros when he first started. I think normal macros for like button combinations, that's totally fine. If you're playing on pad, how are you gonna like? Okay, so in anime games, Roman cancels or RCs are 3 buttons.
Yeah.
How are you gonna do that on a pad like comfortably?
Just fat finger with your thumb, bro.
Dude, that sucks. I'd rather just macro that to one button on one trigger.
Pressing 656, dude.
That's pressing a button multiple. Okay, this is like a weird thing. I think that like normal macros like for buttons are totally fine. Fat fingering buttons like kind of sucks and they can be imprecise. But like this is just pressing the same button 2 times. That's like I think that's something completely different.
Okay, but what if that's part of the character, right? Like, what if I said like pressing 2 buttons frame perfectly is part of the character, given the same reasoning that you use with like Naoto, right? What if I said, oh yeah, pressing light medium is like frame perfectly, no frames apart. You have to press them both at the same time. That's part of the difficulty of the character, and you have to learn how to do it. Right?
Well, then I'd be like, that's sick. Yeah, dude, I'll hold that. I'll do it. I'll like try it that way then. Honestly, this is me being like a weirdo. I like trying hard execution stuff. I'll hold it. I'll try it. But like, if someone else isn't comfortable doing it, then like I guess macros.
It brings up the discussion we were talking about, like controllers. Like, but what pad players? It's like impossible to press like 2 buttons, right? Rather than the hitbox, right? Like, what about all the controller schemes that are happening there? That's not possible on stick, right? Should we suddenly like, I don't know, do something about that? Like, what's going on here? How do we go wrap our heads around this?
Honestly, I think like some games kind of low-key sucking on pad is just a completely different issue. Like, have you tried like? Okay, have you tried like rebinding like 6-button games on pad? What are you gonna move those buttons to?
I don't really know, bro. Like I just suck it up, right? And suffer.
Yeah, I
just drop the $100, $200 on getting a new controller and hold that.
Honestly, maybe. I think like default control schemes and like just that. I think that's like a completely different issue than like having to deal with like macros for different buttons and combinations.
I see. Okay. So, for example, like, what do you call it? V trigger, right? A lot of old games, I think, like they had very like I'm not sure. Did they have like very precise like you have to press both things at the same time? Like were they precise? Do you happen to have played like older games and know?
I don't know how precise they were. Low-key, when I go into older games, I just kind of wing it until it works.
True. I agree with you
So
there.
I don't know like how tight it is to like say do like a FGC or something, or like I
Okay,
don't know,
so
instead
at
of
what
an airstrike.
at what point does accessibility interfere with character develop or like the gameplay? Well, what would you say is like, because with the examples you had given here, this is like characters that have like legacy already built with them, right?
Yeah,
Like these are characters with history. Like these are like Tekken 1 is like the frame perfect electric, or Naoto didn't have dash macro and he's been played for like a long time, breaking your hands, right? So
yeah.
for games moving forward, right, new games with new characters with no history of like these difficulty inputs, right? Do you think games should strive to like not have macros in order to bring about like this unique like character uniqueness, this character difficulty, or should the character difficulty be built in like a different way instead of like having like the new game would retain like macros like dash macro, right, and the difficulty would be found somewhere else in like the character's like technical inputs or whatever.
Yeah, so I think that's like honestly a totally valid option. I think that like movement, I think like directions and all that stuff, it's only one way to like add new ones to a character. Honestly, like I think games should get more accessible. I joke that like oh X nothing will be hard like X or plus R anymore, but like honestly, Strive has gotten a lot more people to play games, and that's a lot of because they added a lot of new macros of accessibility stuff like dash like the dash macro, FD macro, all that stuff. That's fucking great. Honestly, I know I meme about Kyanta a lot, but fuck it, let's just all be like Kyanta. Kyanta has an infinite buffer. Did you know that?
An infinite buffer? How does it work?
So you can literally like press a button and then like right after hold the next button, like just as long like from the moment after you press the first button, and
Uh,
as it'll buffer that input as soon as like it'll just automatically do the
Everything
buffer
will
for
be
it.
frame perfect, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Let's just all be like Kyanta. Fuck it, Kyanta's sick.
That's kind of jank, though. You
It's
know what I'm
very
saying?
jank, but like I think that's the natural end of
That feels like an NRS game. I'm not gonna lie. NRS, you just do the string, and it just happens. Like you don't need to like. You do have to link stuff, but like the string
yeah.
itself, you just press it. Like you boom, 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 and then it will do the complete string. Like always with like, I'm pretty sure the same timing, if I remember correctly.
Oh, does I okay? I barely played NRS games. Do NRS games have like? Can you not delay strings in NRS games?
I don't think so, but don't quote me on that. I don't play NRS games competitively. I play them casually, and the only NRS game I've played is like some more like a little bit of Mortal Kombat, like just like randomly, like some random Mortal Kombat game, and then Injustice 2. So I feel like you just press the string and it like does it, and the only thing you need to like worry about is like linking strings together. But don't quote me on that. I'm not a I'm not a wizard of NRS games.
Okay, well I don't know. I think that like honestly, I'm a fan of leaning buffers because I can just do this for like Tekken. The whole string will come out. Same with KOF. Like in KOF, you
To
can like
hold the special moves or whatever.
yeah, you can like negative edge stuff to like just get everything buffered out fast. I think that's great. Honestly, like buffers are nice. Like you're not an anime player, you haven't played Xrd. Xrd fucking or not Xrd, I mean Plus R. Plus R fucking sucks to play if you like just hop in because that game has no buffer.
No buffer, so everything's
Plus R
like.
fucking sucks to play like a lot of the times. I'm not gonna lie.
Tell that to the plus R heads. Everyone's like, "Oh, play plus R, bro."
Plus
I'm
R
like,
is sick as fuck, but give me like a couple frames to buffer shit, dude.
but it's part of the game. If it wouldn't be plus R if it had a buffer, right? Right?
It is part of the game. Yeah, I will say that like it is part of the game, and if someone wants to like say like not having plus R not having a buffer is like part of what makes the execution like worthwhile, I'll have to like agree with them because at the end of the day,
You know what? I'm gonna tell them. Your player base is like what? 2 people. Hold that 2 people player base,
like
bro.
at the end of the day, like I think honestly, people like drawing the line at what execution is and isn't like too much of them is completely based on like when they started playing.
What fighting game did you start with, by the way?
So I started like casually, I started playing shit like CVS2 and MBC on like my Xbox with family.
Okay, okay.
But I started caring more around when Persona 4 Arena came out.
Okay. I hear Persona 4's got some crazy combos.
That game is fucked up. Don't play it.
Yeah, I am not playing that game, that's for sure. But so how do you think you developed as like your journey with like combos and like how did you come up like how did your opinion on macros like form? Like why are you talking about dashing Naoto? Like why was that in your head?
Because in high school I spent a lot of time just like working on my dashes. I think it's like I think being able to consistently do something is like a skill that should be praised. Like in Tekken, if you side switch a Mishima player online, they're probably not gonna be able to fucking do electrics.
Oh.
Like it's a just frame input and the DPs aren't that intuitive, so like it'll fuck them up. I remember one time I was playing and some guys in person. I think it was against Suma. He literally like two threw me, and the whole venue like started laughing like, "Oh, this guy can't do electrics anymore."
I see.
I think like consistently being able to do anything like in a fighting game, in any situation, is like a really nice skill to have. And I think honestly, macros low-key kind of ruined that magic a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. If it makes the game more accessible for more people to play, then I'll suck it up.
I see. So you're willing to sacrifice these difficulties, these consistency learning, the training that you need to do to get good, for more people playing fighting games.
Yeah.
That's base, bro. That's base. We need more people like you in this world. I'm holding my hands in prayer right now for people like you. You know, I don't mind if it like we had like people get into fighting games and then we did like a rollback, like we made some more difficult fighting games, because I feel like there's this huge stigma around fighting games being hard, like with you mentioning Naoto dash links or micro dash links, you know, or these, you know, frame perfect just electrics. There's this whole stigma, and the stigma is justified. Fighting games, you do gotta sweat it out, bro. You do gotta spend those hours in training mode, you know, to really like enjoy the game, I think, because you know, I feel like there's a thing to be said like casually playing a fighting game, right? You casually play with friends, you enjoy it, you have fun, right? But it's like another level when you like truly understand the game you're playing. Like, oh, you can do the Naoto dash combos, right? You can do the frame perfect electrics, right? And there's just a whole new world that most people don't get to explore because they're like, oh, I don't wanna do this, right?
Yeah, it's a very, very big investment. It sucks. I'll be honest. It sucks to just sit there and grind electrics all day instead of paying attention in class.
Oh crap. So anything else you got on macros, dash macros? Like what are you feeling? Why was this living in your head specifically today?
So this was living in my head because the Theory Fighter video came out. Obviously, go check out Theory Fighter.
Okay, let's see what this video is about real quick.
Oh, have you not watched it?
I have not.
Oh, that's cool. Also, I've been low-key thinking about dashes for a while because you guys know that like Tokido switched to hitbox, right?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Okay, so Tokido switched to hitbox recently, and one of the biggest reasons he discussed was that it was faster for him to dash on hitbox than any other controller.
Okay.
And I've been like just thinking like, I get it for Tokido for the highest level condition or like highest level competition. You want to like move as fast as possible because that's important. But then I start seeing all these other people being like, no, Tokido's got a point. Let's switch to hitbox. And I'm like, if you're switching to hitbox because Tokido said he dashes 2 frames faster, you're a nerd. I'll be honest.
Do you feel like you should switch controllers now that like you have like some influence? You feel like, man, I should get a hitbox or something.
The only reason I'd get a hitbox, honestly, is because I broke my last backpack trying to bring my stick to everything. I would not switch. I like levers. Levers are cool. I love the sound they make. Honestly.
So you're a boomer. Is that you're a fighting game boomer?
Am I a boomer? I swear, like everyone's fucking younger than me, man.
You're fighting game boomer. You stickhead, bruh. Get out of here with that old stuff. This is the new age.
All right, catch me showing up to your next UCLA event in my DDR mat, okay?
Ooh, for sure. That's like truly frame rate. Using that leg extension, the power of your legs instead of your fingers. Just that extra strength.
I got the cheat shuffle.
Bruh. Would you? Okay. This difference in controller is that like cheating with quotes? We hear cheating being thrown around left and right on Twitter nowadays.
Absolutely not. Nah, it's not cheating. I think use like fucking use whatever controller works. Honestly, like it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the controller is just the way that you interact with the game.
I see.
Pad is obviously the most accessible. I think there's some issue with pad for like 6-button games specifically, but pad works just fine. I played on pad for like 4 years before I broke my pad. Stick is great. I love stick. I think there's a lot of like there's cool arcade stick culture and stuff. That's fucking great. I love it. Same thing with Hitbox. I think you miss out on like some of the memes like Octogate or Korean Lever, stuff like that. You don't get a hate on people for that.
Okay.
But you still get a lot of the same like customizing buttons, just all that stuff, as well as I don't know. There's just so much cool options out there. If you really are gonna like call someone like cheating for just like trying something cool, that's fucking whack.
Okay. Hey, how about this? Let me make an analogy or a metaphor per se. It's one of the two. Like I'm eating rice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could eat rice with chopsticks. Or I could eat rice with a spoon, right?
Yeah.
Right. And we're in a competition, you and me. So I'm given the spoon and you're given the chopsticks, right? And we're talking about loose rice. So this rice doesn't it's not sticky. It doesn't clump up together, right? It falls apart. And we're in a competition, and the competition is to eat the rice who can eat the rice the fastest and finish the entire bowl, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, who would you say? Would you win with the chopsticks, or would I win with the spoon?
Look, I would take the spoon like any day of the week. Honestly, chopsticks are cool. I love chopsticks, but like
imagine the chopsticks and the spoon is like the controller, right?
Yeah, but everyone who goes to like a fighting game thing, or like to play fighting games, whether you go to like an event, a local or majors, not everyone. Let's be honest, not everyone's there to win. You're not going to Evo to be like, oh, I'm gonna fucking beat Daigo, become the best. You're here to like hang out, chill, and all that, and also play some fighting games on the side.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So like, I would still take a stick to a major. I'm not there to. I am there. I would go there to beat Daigo, but fucking, I'd still win. But like, nah. But like, you're not there to like compete at the highest level, even when you go to a major or something. So it's still valid to like bring whatever controller suits you instead of what's most optimal.
I see. Okay. This has kind of been like a macro controller discussion. I think they're interrelated. Okay.
Yeah, they definitely are.
What if I like programmed a button, right? On my controller.
Win button is like different. That's different.
Well, what do you mean?
Okay, so like programming an external button to do like a functionality that isn't like part of the game settings, I think that's something completely different. Like if you had a one button dash that was just something on your controller as opposed to like a one button dash that the game gives you.
Okay.
I feel like that's the level of like reaching where like that's I don't know. There's like that's something outside of the game. That's a little. I think that might qualify as cheating.
The dash macros outside of the game. That's not given to you by the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that's okay? So this would only be cheating in like a competitive sense, right? But what if you're just playing like with your friends, right? And they bring a controller with dash macro to play a game. Would you get salty?
I wouldn't get salty. I don't know. I'm honestly not a guy who really gets salty. I would make fun of you. I would call you like a nerd or something, but I'd be like, fuck it, you fucking loser. You can't do the inputs normally.
Would you make that controller for yourself if it was feasible? Just
nah.
You just.
I think learning how to do stuff and finding it is like part of the beauty of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I respect that. I respect that. I unfortunately started with King of Fighters 13 as my first fighting game,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry, dude.
you know, I learned then and there that I don't like technique. I don't like to I'd rather just play the game and not have to learn anything. And
I get that. Yeah.
I feel like I'm like omega biased. That's why I don't like anime fighters. That's why like I started with King of Fighters 13 and that just has ruined like fighting game like long combo. Like King of Fighters 13 doesn't even, you don't need to learn long combos to play that game. But like that just it imbued in my brain that like dang, this stuff exists. And I don't want it. I don't want it. So I don't know if you know me, but guess what my favorite fighting game is?
Yeah, what's your favorite fighting game, Mr.
Well,
Retro Rage?
What do you think it would be?
Okay, I'm trying to think like. So it can't be anime. It's gotta have low execution. I don't know. I want to say something like.
What game do you think has low execution? Actually, I'm curious.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Cause like, I want to say like some like simple boomer game like Super Turbo, but Super Turbo's got some like hard links.
They do. It does have some hard links. I agree.
Like I want to say like haha Street Fighter 5 baby execution, but like maybe I don't know. Maybe Street Fighter 5?
I played a good amount of Street Fighter 5. I still suck at it though. It's Samurai Showdown.
Oh, I forgot Samurai Showdown exists. Yeah, this dude's pressing heavy slash across the screen and just taking my whole life bar in one button.
yes. I don't really know. I'm just spitballing here. I think like I personally also don't like dash macro, and I actually don't like macros in general. I think like all macros. I'm gonna be heavy handed in this and say that all macros shouldn't exist. Like not even like 2 light punch, medium punch for EX, none of that. Just no macros.
How do you feel about like stuff like diagonally, like what I'm pressing? These two I'm pressing right now.
What about that?
How do you think those are valid, or would you still like say no macros in general?
Not even macros, like none.
Dang. Okay, that's I'm not ready. I wasn't ready for that because I'm like. Even, like at the very least, I would like games to have diagonal macros like these because that's actually held to input on stick or on pad.
But here's my reasoning. I think that like all control should be consistent, no matter like what, right?
Okay,
so, like,
yeah.
You might think that like on pad like pressing 2 buttons is like harder, but like I feel like pressing X and O is equivalent to like tapping 2 buttons on like your controller. You get what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you can make your fighting game to be functional on every controller.
Okay, so you think it's more of like if the game has like circle or like circle square inputs, that's a problem with the game, not a problem with like that needs to be solved with macros.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Okay,
I feel like if your game, like you've made your game to need macros, which I feel like shouldn't be the case. I feel like you should design the game where like, oh, I don't need to dash macro. I don't need to do that. Everything could just be consistent across every controller. And of course there might be a few like, smaller minute differences between controllers, because controllers are obviously like different in like how you hold them in the hand, right? But I feel like if a developer truly cared, they could like look at each major controller at least and be like, I'm gonna make a game design so that like the game can be played feasibly on each of these major controllers, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I think that's like the developers don't do that. They just don't care. Like I feel like macros are an option select by the developer to say that, oh, I don't want to think about it, so I'm just gonna put these macros and call it a day. And you know what? It works. They're right. They could just put in the macros and call it a day, right?
Honestly,
then
yeah.
No one complains.
Yeah.
No one complains. They're not like, oh, on my controller I have to press, R1 and X at the same time precisely. They have the macro. They're like, I don't care. I just press R2 and I get the input.
You heard it here first, folks. Retro Rage hates all macros.
It's a harsh take, but I feel like that's the future. And
Honestly, yeah, like I think games are designed around like at least Japanese games are all designed around like playing in the arcade on like a stick. So yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah, it's designed around a stick, right? And so like
mhm.
I feel like macros were just like an additive to like, oh, we have a new player base who uses controllers, right? Maybe like
Yeah,
add these macros in. I feel like in the old games there were no macros. I think, right? In Street Fighter 2 there were no macros. You just I don't think there were EX moves in that game, but Street Fighter Third
yeah.
Strike, is there macros in Third Strike? No, right? You just have to.
3S. I've never played 3S on an official cabinet. Fight Kid has macros, but that's a Fight Kid thing. I don't believe 3S has macros.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Just if there's any developers listening, just take a thought at what I just said. That would be my like that. I don't that's my reasoning. I like consistency, right? So like I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it that like some person like I'm doing the manual method, like you and Naoto, right? Like oh, I don't like. There's like a person who's doing it manually. It's more difficult, right? But like that's like the
Mhm.
legacy way to do it versus like the new blood, the new age where they're doing it this way. It's like okay, bruh. This isn't real life, right? In real life, you could make the
Yeah.
excuse that like technological advancements are required to progress as a society, right? This is a video game we're talking about. It has nothing to do with the progression of society, right? So like I like to keep my legacy ooga booga, sharpening my pencil manually through the blade, right? Like I don't need that mechanical pencil stuff.
You're the one making me for you're making fun of me for sounding like a boomer. Oh my god.
Truth.
No, but yeah, I totally get it though. Yeah.
You wanna-
Honestly, like fighting games are an outdated genre. Let's just keep it outdated.
You know what? Yeah, why not, right? Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Okay. So you think that dash macros significantly improved accessibility, right? Do you think it's actually a core part of like why more people are getting into fighting games? For example, the success of Guilty Gear Strive. Do you actually think that it having like the FC macro or what? Yeah, is it FC RC macros?
RC, yeah,
And then
RC,
the
all
dash
those.
macros. Do you think that actually played a significant role in getting new players?
So I'm like, obviously, I don't think that like macros and all those played a big like they're the reason people bought like Strive. Like, oh my god, this game's got macros, I can play it. But I do think it's a very nice stepping stone to help them getting used to like inputs and execution and all that.
Okay, so it like helped them stay playing the
Yeah,
game, right? Versus like not actually getting them. It just uh, it kept the player base alive per se.
yeah, it helps ease them in. Like, obviously, Strive makes like a lot of strives of its own to like lower the floor or not lower the floor, but lower the bar to like get people more in and playing. And I think macros are just one of the things that it does, just like keep it that way.
Ah, I see. Interesting. Okay. So you think that like in preface, right? Whether or not a game has macros or not won't help. Like it won't affect like if a person is gonna play that or purchase or play that fighting game.
Yeah, macros aren't the be all end all. Fucking plus R, like I go to plus R because it's just what my brain always goes to is like the hard boomer game. Plus R has like macros for like every button combination. It just doesn't have dash. That game is hard as fuck.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. Just wanted to hear some thoughts on that, because I don't know. Yeah, macros. There's a lot of the future. We got new fighting games coming out. You're just talking about Theory Fighter, and like I just looked at the video. It's what should Street Fighter 6 have a dash button or
Oh
whatever?
yeah.
Right. That's the video you were talking about.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot in store for the future. You think this discussion might come up again? You think you would want to talk about this again, maybe when like Project L comes out or some other fighting game?
This is a funny game talking point. This question's gonna come up next week, and you're gonna ask for new topics. I'll be like, "Oh, Dash Macros Part 2, also Hitbox Part 7."
Yo, I think
nobody will ever be happy about like whatever happens in fighting games. So these will always just like be conversations that'll continue to happen unless we just kill it
True.
all now.
True. Okay. Hear me. Now that we're talking about people being happy, what do you think? What fighting game do you think people are most satisfied with?
Most
Like that
satisfied.
people are just happy. There's no people complaining about the man dash blah blah blah.
Most satisfied? I'd have to be
Yeah.
like, I'd have to think of like communities I don't hear a lot from, but at this point, communities I don't hear a lot from are because the game doesn't have rollback, so nobody's talking about them.
Okay. Okay.
Honestly, I don't know what I'd say like is the most satisfied community. Fight. A lot of the guys on Fight Kid seem kind of chill now that like nobody's saying slurs anymore all the time.
That's
Like,
just a fight kid thing, I think.
like I don't know. Fight Kid 2 seems kind of chill. There's still a lot of like hate and salt there, but
Okay. I'm just spitballing here, and like, you got more things to talk about. You can keep going. I'm not. I'm running out of things to say.
yeah, I'm kind of
Any other
okay.
game you want to pull up real quick? Maybe give us one more example before we disappear into the nether realms.
Let me think. Do I have like Fight Kid as well? All right, 3K. Don't call me out. Look, I don't read chat anymore. I just send games, and someone sends me a message, and I don't get hate mail. I'm trying to think of another game with like
Oh yeah.
execution.
Okay, I just read. I'm looking at the chat. Cleanest lead singer. He's a what do you call it? He's been here for a lot of these. He says you need dash macros for stick, but on hitbox it's a non-issue. Stick users getting carpal tunnel. You're not allowed to have any macros unless it's built into the game. Okay, so he was agreeing with the. Oh dang,
Yeah.
that was been a while ago, but oh what he mentions a good point.
Hmm?
Should could you have like dash macros but only for stick users? Like the game
I
can detect what controller you're using and give you controller options based on your controller.
as cool as that is, I don't think that's realistic. I'd love to be like, yeah, it'd be so sick if the game could detect my controller, but
What?
I don't know.
The game
I
already
don't
does that, right? Do they not? Unless they don't, can't they detect whether or not it? Actually, maybe not.
I don't believe. Oh no, actually, I don't know. Would it be able to detect? Because like, is there a difference in the boards between hitboxes and sticks?
Well, I know Steam can definitely detect what controller you have. That's like 100% sure. I'm like fairly certain, right? So if Steam can do it,
Yeah,
I'm
Steam can do it,
sure.
but then like can but then each game would have to like account for detecting all the different boards and like determining whether it's a controller or a stick, right? And
I
look,
see.
we can't even get rollback in like our games. You think devs will do that?
True. But what if? Like, what if though?
What if I think as a
Like
what
for
if?
example, like if you're playing on pad, you get access to
Yeah,
like the triple buttons or like the double button macros, right?
I think even if like as a what if, I don't think that'd be a really good idea because there's a lot of like uh because I don't know, there's always like the case of like players with disabilities who need to like use their own like weird setup and maybe they need macros that aren't allowed on like their type of controller
Ah, I see. I see.
because like there's I don't know if PlayStation has one, but I know for Xbox there's like this like just controller that's just a bunch of like jacks that you can plug in to plug in your own buttons to make games work for like whatever your needs are.
Yeah. For sure.
So like yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be nice, but I think it should either be no macros or macros for everyone.
Okay, I see. Interesting. All right. Well, that's all I got. If you want to call it here, I'm down to call it.
Yeah. Okay. One last thing.
About 3K.
Oh, what about 3K?
What was he mentioning in chat? I can't pull up the chat right now, but did he say something?
He's talking about everyone in uni uses the dash macro. Shit is cheating. Boko bar. All my homies hate P4U. 2 frames is Pog. Fuzzy jump 1 frame. Spoon is cheating. Ban. All right, 3K is a spoon hater.
Okay, what did you want to say? Sorry for interrupting.
All right, so one last thing, as an extension of like dashing and like being able to perform things consistently, being cool. Uh, fuck it. I think that like I think that players not being able to do something is a very valid part of like the player matchup, and I think it's very fun to like figure out what your opponent can and can't do.
Oh, okay.
Like you're playing your friend who's like kind of new to fighting games and they can't DP on P2 side, so you side switch them.
That's like some metagaming right there.
Look, metagaming is way more fun than any like real matchup shit.
You know what? I agree with you there.
I think that like dash macros, execution, and all that, that's just an extension of this larger discussion. Metagame the shit out of everyone. If I knock you down and I run at you, am I gonna do a tick throw like everyone else? No, I'm gonna fucking DP you. You have to know that.
Okay. You heard it here. Wi-Fi warrior. Metagame your opponents. That's the true knowledge. The true gameplay right there is knowing what your opponent cannot do. Right? Know thy enemy. Alright. I want to cut the stream here. Thanks for Wi-Fi Warrior for coming in, talking about dash macros. Gave some good examples. Their knowledge has been appreciated.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Where can we find you? Yeah, where can we find you?
Where can you guys find me? You guys can find me at running the CSUSM Esports Club for all that stuff, whatever. Or you guys can find me in the matchmaking channels by adding anything. I probably see it. I'm just like scared of checking it.
All right. You guys heard it here. All right, I'm gonna call this stream off now. Thank you, Wi-Fi Warrior. Thank you.
All right.